What's poppin', friends? In this video I'm going to show you one of the best pieces of gym equipment that everyone should use. It will dramatically improve any kind of training in the gym or at home, save you lots of time and pain, and the best thing about it, it's cheap. As you probably already know, you should strive for proper technique on pretty much any of your lifts, as you know that leads to a lower injury risk, better strength gains or gains overall because you're working more effective on your lifts, and thus all of that leads to more longevity in the gym. But how are you going to find out and correct your own technique? Well, in the past you might have used a mirror for that, or you might have let someone film your sets or your exercises, or you might have even had a coach who controlled your lifts. But today I want to show you the best and cheapest method to control and correct your own lifts just by yourself. But first, guys, let me know, did you control your own lifts and exercises in the past, and how? Just let me know down below in the comments. Well, there are a few downsides to the methods I just talked about to control your own technique. A mirror might just be distractive in your training because you're just focusing on what you can see in the mirror and not on your actual lift and what the lift should feel like. Also, the mirror is not that suitable for many lifts. It really just works for the lifts where you are able to stare right in front of you. For example, deadlifting in front of a mirror, correcting yourself by that way is not the best idea. Also, if you once start to use a mirror to control your own technique or to correct your own technique, you will always be dependent on that mirror. And then you might just one day switch up your gym or might switch to another rack and there's no mirror in front. And then what are you going to do? You're going to have no idea what the lift should feel like, how you should perform it without a mirror. So all of that together leads us to the point where a mirror often makes your training, your technique and your lifts even worse than before. So not the best idea. Well, you might just let someone film your exercises in the gym or your lifts. The first point about that is you need someone. Someone needs to be there. Right now, due to COVID, especially, or if you're in lockdown, there's probably not that many people around you who could film your sets reliably. If you're training in some kind of commercial gym or bigger gym where somebody could film you or your sets, you're probably going to get varying outcomes from that. Mostly bad outcomes if we're going to be real. Also, letting someone film has the major disadvantage of the footage often being shaky or asymmetrical, which is then deceptive in the end because what you're seeing on the video is not reflecting what you're doing correctly because the camera is not standing still. It might just look a bit asymmetrical on the video itself, but your actual lift was great, but you're going to be deceptive by that then. Well, there's always the possibility of having a coach who might correct your lifts, and there's only really two major disadvantages to that one. First thing is you need to find a good coach. If your coach sucks, probabilities are high that your technique is gonna suck as well. The other downside is, and that's the only real downside to having a coach, because you could find a good one, but it's gonna be expensive. If you don't have the money for a coach, what are you gonna do? I'll show you. There's one other very good method, and that's actually the method I want to talk about today, which is getting a tripod. It's as simple as it sounds, but yet almost no one is using one in the gym. There are a few major advantages to having a tripod to correct your own technique. It's very cheap, it's easily portable, and you can always have it with you. You can set up the whole thing just the way you want it to be, and you're not going to be dependent on anyone. Filming your own sets will get you a feel for the lift, so you can learn how to use your motor units the right way and just burn the correct technique into your brain until it becomes automatic, which is just what you want to achieve in the gym. Next up, I'm going to show you real quick how to use the tripod correctly, because there's just a few things to keep in mind when doing that. But first, if you enjoyed the video so far, guys, please leave a like down below. When you are filming your own sets, you want to make sure that your camera is positioned right in front, to the side, or directly from the rear, especially when doing lifts where symmetry is important. Because if you're just changing the angle slightly to the side, the picture on the camera might be deceptive. It might look kind of weird. The barbell might look like it's hanging down on one side, but actually you're perfectly symmetrical. It's just that how you set up your tripod is decepting you. Just for a quick comparison, I pulled out 2 clips from my last training session. The left one is filmed on a tripod while the right one is filmed handheld. As you can see on the right side, everything looks pretty much fine with the technique. But on the left side, you can clearly see that my hips are slightly twisted. The bar is not perfectly straight on my back. It also makes the appearance due to the belt being slightly tilted on the left side. But as you can see on the left side, if you're not filming from the rear, the front, or the side directly, and if you're moving around with the camera, that's just some little things you wouldn't notice otherwise. But of course, experiment with the angles. Just keep in mind to go for that symmetry so your picture is not decepting you. The next question is, in what frequency should you use the tripod? Should you use it on any set or just occasionally, every other training or whatever? Well, it ultimately comes down to your experience in the gym. If you're just a beginner, you started lifting a few days ago, you might want to use your tripod on most of your sets to just develop a feel for the exercises. But also if you're a very advanced and experienced lifter, there's always mistakes creeping into your training slowly. So you might want to use a tripod occasionally to make sure there's not too many of them creeping into your workouts. Just film one set once in a while and you're immediately gonna notice that there's a mistake that you didn't notice because it just felt right for you. And it just kept creeping in slowly but steadily into your lifts. As I just mentioned before, the ultimate goal of using a tripod is to learn how to move your body right, to develop the right feeling for your lift, so you aren't dependent on anyone, anything, any mirror. And then once you got that, you can put the tripod away most of the time. Just focus on your training, enjoy the lifts, and then once in a while, bust out the old tripod, check if everything is still correct, and then you can just move on perfectly fine. One other thing to keep in mind is don't overanalyze and get too obsessed by filming every set, trying to get everything perfectly right. There is no such thing as perfection. You can't always have perfectly fine technique in every training. So don't overanalyze. Just try to get better every time. If you're already an experienced lifter and you have proper technique, just as I said, bust out the old tripod once in a while. Your goal is just to learn what proper technique feels like. And that's what I want to bring over to you with this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like that in the future. And if you tried out using a tripod in your own training, let me know how it worked out for you. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.